Hello guys, welcome back. In this video, I'm going to share with you how you can verify your address fast in AdSense. So a YouTuber got demonetized for over 1 year because he couldn't verify his address in AdSense. You can imagine how much he could have earned from his YouTube channel in a year. So I'm going to share with you a simple tip that I shared with him that got his address verified in less than 3 weeks. After you set up your AdSense account for the first time, you'll be required to verify your identity by submitting a government-issued ID. After that, you must reach a $10 threshold in AdSense for you to be able to verify your address and also create a payment method. The payment method is where you enter your bank details or other means through which you can get your money from AdSense. So for the address verification, Google will send you a PIN that you enter into your AdSense account for them to verify your address. Without that PIN, you won't be able to verify your address. Now, there's some certain sequence you need to understand about this PIN, how you can verify your address with PIN. So the first thing you need to understand is that immediately you send the first PIN, you request for the first PIN, from then onwards, Google will give you 4 months to verify your address. And when you send the first PIN and you didn't get it, you have 3 weeks to wait before you can send the second one. So for you, between the period of sending the first PIN and the second PIN will take you like 3 weeks. So after 3 weeks of sending the first PIN, if you didn't get the PIN, you can request it. So when you check, it might take you almost 4 months for you to wait for the PIN. That is, if you have some issues receiving the PIN. Some of the issues could be that maybe the mail delivery system in your area is not good, or probably the address you are using is far from your post office, or probably the address is not accessible by postal mail. So in this scenario, this is where most content creators have issues. Like, for example, the YouTuber I said earlier, he tried it like about 3 times and he couldn't succeed. And the 4 months that Google gave him to verify his address elapsed, and then they demonetized his channel. Now, when he reached out to me, this is the suggestion or the idea I gave to him. Each time you want to send a PIN, when you try the first one, use your address. Then after 3 weeks, if you didn't get the PIN, you can try with another address. Probably if it's an address that is closer or that is accessible to postal mail, you can try that another address. Then when you wait after another 3 weeks and you didn't get it, you can try another address. So in essence, the idea I'm trying to push out here is that you try anytime you resend the PIN, especially after the second one, try another address. So like in the YouTuber that I talked about, after trying it, I told him to change the address to another address. He was living somewhere in northern Nigeria, and I suggested that he should use an address in a city. So he tried another address in a city, and in less than 3 weeks, his PIN was delivered, and he verified his address and his YouTube channel was remonetized. So now I'm going to show you how you can change your address in AdSense. Let me quickly show you how you can do that in AdSense. So in your AdSense account, go to the payment info page, then click on manage settings. Then under the settings, you'll be able to find where you can change your address. So some of you talk about changing of country. When you check here, you see that you can't change your country. It is uneditable here. But for the address, you can come here and then edit the address, change it to the new address you want to use, and then come down and save it. So when you do this, you can now resend the PIN. So another thing you need to understand is that before you resend the PIN, make sure you have already changed the address to where you want the PIN to go. So after you change the address, then you can now resend the PIN. So I'm very sure that when you try 2 or 3 different addresses, definitely you will get it from one of them. Some of you do ask that if you eventually send or resend the PIN 3 times and eventually the first one not delivered, will it work? The answer is yes. Those pins that you've tried to resend several times is the same pin. So if the first one later eventually comes, when you use it, it will work. If the last one or whichever one that comes first, you can use it and it will work on your channel. So I would like to also answer this question from a subscriber. She asked, assuming I received the address letter through the first address I used and I have already changed the address for a recent PIN, do I need to change it back to the first one through which I received the letter before entering the PIN? Nothing connects the address with the PIN. All what Google needs is just for you to get the PIN and make sure you get it physically and then enter it in your AdSense account. So whether you change it or not, it doesn't matter, but I will always advise that you change it to the former address, the one that you used earlier. You can just change it to your original address. So that answers the question. If for any reason you weren't able to get the PIN delivered to you, you have another option. That is, if you have made over 3 tries to resend the PIN, you have another option, which is the PIN troubleshooter process, or I do call it verify without PIN. So if you follow this process, you will be able to verify your address without PIN, and you need to submit some documents. That is a government issued ID and also a bank statement, telephone bill, or your rent receipt. So if you're in Nigeria, I do recommend that you use a driver's license, because a driver's license is a government issued ID that has both your name and your address on it. So when you submit your only a driver license, it will scale through immediately. But when you use something like an international passport, that means you need another additional document to back it up. That is like a bank statement, a rent receipt, or a telephone bill. So the essence of all this is that when you are trying to verify your address and you are not too sure of you getting the PIN delivered to you, try several addresses. When you try the first one, maybe in the second attempt you use another address, and in the third attempt you can also try another address. So whichever one comes first is still the same PIN. You can use it to verify your address. So if this video was helpful, please let me know by giving it a thumbs up, and let me know in the comment section if you have reached this level in your AdSense application, or if you have crossed this level. And if you're already monetized, I would like you to also share your experience during your AdSense application. How easy or difficult was it when you did yours? So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.